Hey, what's up? I'm currently on a 1 year long shopping ban. I've shared heaps of videos about my ban on this channel. I'm gonna link these down below. And this video is all about 10 tips on how you can create a successful shopping ban of your own. Tip number 1 is to define your values. Knowing your values and actually putting them into writing is, in my opinion, one of the most important steps prior to attempting to do anything. If you are unsure of your values, or if you have actually never put them into writing, then stop this video right now and put them into writing. Tip number 2 is to be clear about your reasons. In order to thrive during your shopping ban, you need to be very clear on why you're actually doing it. Just blindly jumping into it might not be the best idea. Are you buying things that you don't need? Are you buying clothing although you've already got a closet full of stuff? Is health one of your core values and yet you're spending $500 a month on junk food? Get very clear on why exactly you want to commit to a shopping ban and write it down. Tip number 3 is to take a deeper look at your needs and at your wants. Maslow's hierarchy of need comes to mind, that you might have heard of in school during your studies, or that you may have just stumbled up on online. I can only kindly encourage you to have a closer look at the pyramid and to determine where you're standing on the pyramid. Chances are, if you're buying clothing every single week and have been doing that for years, then you probably have way more clothing than you actually need. And differentiating between a need and a want is vital. I think sometimes we get it a little mixed up, and just sitting down and getting very clear on what your wants are and on what your needs are can be life-changing. Tip number 4 is to set realistic rules. Setting your own rules is a really important step when it comes to the shopping ban, and they only really need to make sense to you. They function as a rough guideline and will help you navigate your way through the shopping ban. I created quite a few rules for my shopping ban that I posted here on YouTube as well as on my blog. I'm gonna put a link to my video and my post down below. It's important to remember that the rules only really have to work for you and no one else. And yes, my rules may not make sense to everyone, and they don't have to, because it's my shopping ban. My shopping ban, my rules. Tip number 5 is to keep it simple. This is actually a really important one. I'm personally a lover of spreadsheets, and because of my shopping ban, I've actually started new spreadsheets. And I'm of course also continuing to track my expenses, which is something that I've been doing since 2014. This is just me. I enjoy doing these things, and they're a lot of fun for me. However, I appreciate that spreadsheets aren't fun for everyone. So during the ban, you can take notes, you can create spreadsheets, do whatever makes sense for you and do whatever works for you. Because at the end of the day, the system that you have in place has to work for you and no one else. Tip number 6 is to tell your friends and family. If you're keen on starting a shopping ban, then share it with your closest friends and family. Now, a little tip here, share it with those that are usually in support of your actions and dreams. Don't share it with those that don't tend to be overly supportive of your dreams and desires. I'm all about sharing it with people that you think will support you and encourage you during your shopping ban. Tip number 7 is to plan all your purchases in advance. I plan all my purchases a year in advance. And I did recently publish a video on YouTube and also a blog post on my blog that I'm gonna link down below. It's a habit that I've gotten into a while ago, a handful of years, and I really, really love it. Planning your purchases in advance is, in my opinion, a very crucial step that can really help you out. I'm doing it because I love keeping track of things, I love spreadsheets, and so planning all my purchases in advance was really just a natural step for me. And now that I'm doing a year-long shopping ban, I've taken how I keep track of things to the next level. Not because I need to, just because it's a lot of fun for me. Tip number 8 is to keep track of all your expenses. I keep track of all my expenses and I've been doing so since 2014. I'm also going to be sharing with you all my expenses for the next 12 months on my blog. And I'm gonna put a link to one of my most recent posts about my expenses in the description box. Tip number 9 is to share a length that works for you. I choose to do a shopping ban for a whole year because a year is a good time frame. Whatever length you choose, stick with it. If you think 3 months is enough, then go ahead and do just that. However, I do think in order to reap the most benefits, I would at least do 3 months. A month would be a little short, 2 months might not be enough, and 3 months is a really good time frame because at the end of the day, it's about forming new habits, and forming a new habit can be really difficult if you've only got a month to form a new habit. And tip number 10 is to make the most of it. Make the most of your shopping ban while you're at it. Spread the word among friends and family, and if you're someone who shares little bits and bobs online, then share your shopping ban online. I'm really excited to be doing this shopping ban, and these were my 10 tips on how you can create a successful shopping ban. And let me quickly recap my 10 tips. Tip number 1 is to know your core values. Tip number 2 is to be very clear about your reasons on why you're starting a shopping ban. Tip number 3 is to take a deeper look at your wants versus needs. And tip number 4 is to set realistic rules. Tip number 5 is to keep it simple, and tip number 6 is to tell your friends and family, at least those who are usually supportive of what you're doing. Tip number 7 is to plan all your purchases in advance, and tip number 8 is to keep track of all your expenses. Tip number 9 is to decide on a length that works for you. And lastly, tip number 10 is to make the most of it. If you're thinking of doing a shopping ban, please let me know. If you've done one in the past, I would love to hear your experience. And if you're currently on a shopping ban, then I would love to hear how it's going for you. Have a lovely day and see you next time.